So about a year back, I uploaded my essay on the V's and how I believe each of them will meet their inevitable downfall. It was something I enjoyed making, and based on what I can see, you lovely lot enjoyed it just as much. Which, as a content creator, makes me one happy chappy. Although, with the benefit of hindsight, I may have been a tad hasty when it comes to some of the assertions made in the video. However, do not get it twisted, because I stand by everything I said, but my views on the unholy trinity have evolved somewhat. This is primarily because when doing an overview of the politics of Vizzbop's Hell, the V's play the game surprisingly well. And when deciding to revisit the three, I chose to start with Valentino because he may just be Has-Been Hotel's perfect villain. Which is quite the declaration to make when you have, in the same series, the offspring of the Joker and Hannibal Lecter, someone who is gearing up for the devouring mother archetype, a true believer in her cause, and someone who I cannot classify as being strictly good or evil. In comparison to the others, Valentino seems more like an episodic villain of the week type of thing, or somebody who was made specifically to give Angel a more sympathetic story. As a character, he's very one-dimensional. And yet, I would consider him to be the best villain, not necessarily because of how he affects the plot or even his actions, but because he is perfectly designed for Vizzbop's Helliverse from top to bottom. Right off the bat, and as members of the audience, we're meant to feel a great deal of negativity and angst towards Valentino based on what we see him do to Angel. And I highly doubt anyone would fault us for disliking him for said reasons. On a more personal level, I hold out hope that Nifty will throw him balls first into a wood chipper and then deliver his flappers to Rosie so she can have a fresh set of drapes in her emporium. However, and let's be totally honest here, we can absolutely hate what happens to Angel because he's someone we've begun to know and better understand through the course of the story. But we can't say that Valentino isn't allowed to do the things he does. If anything, he's participating in the day-to-day politics of the Pride Ring, just in his own way. Based on what's been laid out in the series, the Overlords control segments of the Pride Ring in the style of a tribal chieftain, with a series of sinners being put under their direct control. Very much a, they say jump, you ask how high type of situation. And the only pathway to achieve such a position of power is embodied by a pure Darwinian survival of the fittest battle for the top spot, and that one famous quote from John Milton's Paradise Lost. So if you happen to be in hell, and you do not wish to be enthralled to another until the end of days, you must be cunning, you must be ruthless, and above all else, you must be totally devoid of this thing. You may or may not have heard of it. It's called morality. Basically, if you are in hell, and you want even a crumb of power, if you don't emulate either Palpatine or the Xenomorph, you ain't getting nothing.
Perfect organism, unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality.
As an example, the fanbase absolutely adores Rosie. And rightfully so, she is fantastic. But she still is an overlord with an army of cannibals that are just dying to be let off the leash. So Auntie Rosie may be Hell's best mom, but try and imagine what she had to do to get to where she's at right now. How is Valentino any different just because he's more Diddy than Mary Poppins? As a side note, this also makes me happy that Pentious never got his desired position. A good snaky boy he shall forever remain. And unlike the Radio Demon, Valentino wasn't using any cheat codes or special connections to get what he wanted. He clawed his way up from the dirt to get his position and has taken full advantage of the power he's amassed to the extent that he seems to redefine the meaning of the word abuse whenever he's on screen. One could say that he played the game and he won it all, and unlike Fizzarali, he has no intention of quitting. And given the circumstances, why would he? As a sinner, he's reached his peak. Being a member of a trio also gives him and his compatriots extra security and resources whenever they need them. And there's also the fact that should anyone decide to sign a contract with him, his new employee can't really complain or make a fuss about whatever he decides to use them for. He can humiliate and degrade them in public. He can exploit them for profit until they're completely hollowed out. He can dismember them or simply shred them to pieces. And not once could you say that he isn't within his right as an overlord to do so. And you may now take out that pin, because even though Valentino is acting within his rights as an overlord, the way he does it is very specific. If you were to take my comparison of the overlords to tribal chieftains, then Mothman would most likely be Negan from The Walking Dead or Mama from Dread. Any buffer to his authority, legitimate, perceived, or otherwise, is taken care of with an iron fist and anatomical specificity, which says quite a bit about Val's personality, beyond being a barbaric hedonist who thinks that a war crime is sexy.
He's into this waterboarding shit now. I don't know, it's a kink.
Meaning that when he has his boot on the throat of his employees for even the smallest of inconveniences, this is not simply him crashing out due to anger management issues. It's based around how he seized power, became an overlord, became a founding father of the V's, and how he maintains his position. To summarize,
when you play the Game of Thrones, you win, or you die. There is no middle ground.
Which is why Valentino is so hard-pressed on those beneath him to ensure that he keeps himself where he's at. And so far, it's worked extremely well. It's also why he attempts to attack the hotel when he finds out that Angel is there, because he wants to ensure he has control. Angel is his moneymaker, and therefore he will be receiving the majority of the screen time. And when I say screen time, I mean abuse. And not only has Angel bolted, but he's also bolted to the literal Princess of Hell. That can be seen as an escape or even a power move. So try and imagine what was going through Valentino's mind when our dear princess showed up asking if Angel could take more time off work. Val is well aware, probably through first-hand experience, that if he allows there to be even a little slack in the chain he's holding, then it could lead to his downfall. And if you really want a twisted perspective on this guy, take into account the music videos Addict and Poison. You could watch each of those videos from beginning to end, and you could say that everything we're seeing is happening in one sitting or happening over time. If you were to look at it from the point of view of the latter, then you could gain an idea of how Valentino may have given his sales pitch to Angel way back when, preying on the downtrodden, promising fame, fortune, and everything beyond and in between, only for the new arrival to realize the existential nightmare that is now their afterlife. And should they try anything funny,
I have killed bitches for less than this attitude you're giving me. You're lucky you make me money.
So, with that being said, let's take a look at how Valentino's perfect villainy works in real time. When Charlie shows up and proceeds to screw the pooch by setting things on fire, we see Angel and Val exchange looks. The gaze of the Overlord screaming, "She was here because of you. You are going to pay for this nuisance in blood, sweat, and tears." And by playing the "I am your master" card, Valentino then demands Angel throw Charlie out and then pull an all-nighter. And because it's his studio, he's allowed to be as belligerent and as violent as he wishes, despite Charlie's protests. But before she can do anything, Angel steps between her and Val and demands that she leave in a very cold fashion before proceeding to do as commanded. And when looking back, this scene is very painful to watch. Charlie is Angel's friend, and the only thing she wants from him is to be better, and now he is forced under penalty of torture and death to toss her out against his will, with Valentino sneering the entire time. When Princess Morningstar begins to let her demon side out, Valentino just crosses his arms and smiles as he waits for Angel to step in. He is relishing in the power he holds and the pain he can cause in the moment, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Valentino may not be a schemer like Alistair, but this is a peak villain moment for him. And when going back to Poison, if you see the video as an entire night versus several nights over time, we see him savoring in his power even more. That final scene where he shakes Vox's hand and gives Angel that grin really cements his villainy. At least for me. A Mothman being horrifically abusive, exploitative, and straight up murderous to any and all beneath him, and the entire time being allowed to do so with veritable impunity and a smile on his face. And I sincerely hope that Angel doesn't self-destruct to the point where Valentino would drop him, because I have the distinct feeling that after the fire and the club, he would try to recreate the Kalima scene from Indiana Jones and try to pass it off as a kinky act and not him ending a life. So those were just my thoughts on why I believe Valentino is the best villain Hazbin Hotel has given us. He may not be something looming on the horizon like Alistair plotting, Loot craving revenge, or the possibility of Sarah crashing out, but he doesn't have to be. The pedestal of power that is being an overlord was built for him, just as he was built for it. He's a guy who takes full advantage of the power he's acquired and keeps himself from being supplanted by crushing any semblance of hope in those he ensnares, and he loves every second of it. It just goes to show that sometimes you don't need a big bad that's plotting in the background. Sometimes you can just keep things simple with someone who's a villain from balls to bone and will apologize for nothing. If you liked what I cooked up today, be sure to smash that like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. In the meantime, Godspeed, and I hope to see each of you in the next installment.